part of the scarcity mindset of an entrepreneur is if I pour all this time and effort into there and then end up firing them or they end up quitting, what a waste of time. Not really, you got good practice. Or if I pour all this into them and they go work for somewhere else, that's your bad then. Because if you were really pouring into them and leading them, it wouldn't work. In this video, we're gonna talk about the importance of KPIs in a business, what it's like to scale from scratch, not having any money, any experience, and just jumping full in. And then we're also gonna talk about pouring into the most important people in your organization. Most people think it's the salespeople because they drive revenue. You're gonna be surprised to find out it's not. Enjoy. I wanted to go over your corporate setup. Clearly you're the CEO. So, somebody like the CFO can be like, our CFO is fractional. My CFO, for example, my CFO does payroll and he does the numbers at the end of the month, like what was our gross revenue, what was our profit margin. So he's doing profit margin shit. He does projections, and then he's on a team with my accountant, which is a CPA, and the CPA's only job is to file my taxes. That's it. That's that person's, they're on every call with me that we do, and I'll go over that cadence in a minute, but their job is, the CPA's only job is to file my taxes. Now my bookkeeper is a part of that team too, and that's a different story, okay? Here's what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs with their CPAs and their bookkeepers, right? You go out into the business world and you charge this, you pay for this, blah, blah. You assume that the accountant's smart and knows what the hell you're spending the money on. You assume that they know that that money was for marketing, or that money was for fine dining, or that whatever it is. You assume that they look at it, they can figure it out. They can't. They're not that smart because they weren't their first person, and there's so many things that they'd have to remember. It's just like tax code's out of control. So what I do is every week for 15 minutes, I have a meeting with my accountant team. Right? It's my CFO, my CPA, and my bookkeeper, right? It's a little overkill, but I do this every week. It's only 15 minutes. They don't charge me any extra for it because they enjoy the 15 minutes. It's usually 10 minutes of jokes and 5 minutes worth of accountability, right? But what I'm doing is I'm telling them, like for this week, for example, I got a $120,000 wire in, okay? And so if I didn't communicate with them, then that wire looks like it's profit, right? It's like, oh, hey, here's $120,000 in profit that they must have gotten from a client. I'll put this in the profit world. Where in reality, I sold about $130,000 worth of watches and took a $10,000 loss on them. And so I meet with the bookkeeper and say, hey, this 120 is actually a $10,000 loss from some marketing material that we had earlier. You're probably wondering why I would lose 10 grand on watches, because we sell them cheap to recruit people into Apex, right? So it's a lead magnet for us. So the 10 grand I lost, we probably made $500,000 on using them as lead magnet. But I say that because if I didn't talk to them and make them aware of that, then that would have made another 120 grand I'd have had to pay taxes on. Instead, I've got that money in my account now, and it's a 10 grand loss that I'm paying taxes on, right? Or avoiding tax on, whatever the word is there, tax deficit on. So having those weekly calls, this week I had a call, it's like, look, we've got 120 reimbursement, or 120 coming in from the watches. We got another 140 from a reimbursement, but then I got 170 coming in from a ranch that I sold. And so that one I'm actually gonna be taxed on, right? But imagine being taxed on 170 versus being taxed on like 440. That's a huge amount of money that just by that weekly communication, and it's not getting on there and boring read line items. It's like, here's big chunks of change or big bills that I'm paying. I want you to know what they are. Cool, break. Man, that changed the game. I use Easier, because I use Easier accounting. I have for a long time. They've been good to me. And here's where so many people, they struggle with their CPAs and bookkeepers. They just don't communicate with them. They expect them to know everything. I was the same way until I beat my head against the wall with so many different accountants and so many different bookkeepers and shit. I was like, okay, I've got to change, because clearly they can't be all idiots, right? They just need us to communicate. They're not entrepreneurs. They're, bean counters. Right. So the bookkeepers are part of that. Yeah, 15 minutes a week. They won't even charge you extra money for it. You're a cool guy. It's not like they're like, oh, I hate Kenny, and now you're a cool guy, so they'll enjoy the 15 minutes, right? If you're some kind of asshole to them, yeah, they're gonna bill you for that 15 minutes or whatever the case may be. And in some weeks, you can just text them, hey man, literally nothing, zero outside of the ordinary going on this week, blah, blah, blah. So, our weekly meeting is Wednesday at 11 p.m. Just so you know, we all hop on Zoom. And
11 p.m.?
I'm sorry, 11 a.m. Thank you for that. 11 a.m. So it's middle of the week, middle of the day. So we know where we're at. You know, we get a report for last week. Dave's like, hey, here's where we're at so far for the month. We're up, we're down. Dave's my CFO. We're up, we're down. CPA's like, hey, I got this question, or they're the bookkeeper rather. So I got this question, that question. So, okay, so we got the CFO. Now we've got a COO, right? So that's going to be your chief operations officer. Do you have that person on your team?
I don't have any other C-suite, anything.
Okay. That person's going to be over your, for your case, like your.
We have an ops department that
your
does
operations,
like
of course,
scheduling and stuff. Or
scheduling, customer service, HR, this customer service people.
What about materials and stuff like that?
Ordering materials, things like that. Anything that's got to do, anything that's not sales related and not specifically accounting related, that should be the COO's job.
What about marketing?
Marketing would fall in line with the salesperson. So
CEO is going to be like ops, HR, office admin.
Yeah, the operations, office admins, all those people. That person's, because here's what's happening, man. You're building a company, Kenny, to where it's bigger than you. You know, in the beginning you can shake all the hands and everything else, but you have to install middle management. And middle management sounds like a negative term, but what it is the middle between you and the employees. Doesn't mean you can't go hang out and shake hands and blah, 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 but you've got somebody they go to with problems now instead of you. You got somebody giving them direction, holding them accountable. I showed you the way that we do it where everybody inputs their data and then we get a report at the end of the day. Oh, dude, you're gonna love this. So check this out. Every day at 4 p.m., Zoe posts this, okay, in our group, and they have to put their department, what they do, their daily deliverables, okay? Deliverables, sorry. Then what happens is at the end of the day, Jose sends me this daily summary, and it says what every employee accomplished in my company for the entire day.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
I can have them make it for you.
That would be even better.
Yeah, just remind me Monday. You can add or adjust whatever you need. Like, we are always finding new to add to it, because my goal here is like not to make Hector's life comfortable. It's to always push him to do more, right? Like, nobody should be sitting around going, well, you know, we're good enough.
Right.
You know, we've done, you know, we've accomplished this. This is what we're here to do. I've done my job. That should never be the I've done my job. Should not be like a saying here. You know, it should be, you know, man, wait till we get good. That's
your sales guys do that too? Yeah.
That's the wait till we get good. And then Jose takes all the sales guys' totals and double checks it and then makes sure that it's real and says
that's really
amount of sales, cash collected, because ours, you know, cash collected amount of sales is different.
Doors hit, doors this, that, even though they're 1099s, I guess we can't make them.
No, you can make them. It's just check in, just contractor check-in sheet. One thing I learned about America, everything can be solved with words and paper.
And words for
you can murder somebody, the right words and paper with the right signature, which is words on paper. You can murder somebody, whether you're a Navy SEAL or a sniper. It's just all of pattern of getting to get the right words on paper.
So you're watching this video and you're probably thinking, how can I get in touch with that guy and ask him a couple questions? Find out if he's real, find out if he knows what he says he knows, find out if he is who he says he is. I want to talk to you, so just call my office. It's 972-573-6773. Just call the office. Somebody will pick up the phone. They may route you to me. They may route you to one of our success coaches. Everybody on my team is an 8-figure producer that's capable of giving you the information, the strategy, and the success that you need in life. So give us a call. Again, that number is 972-573-6773. Give us a call. Give us an opportunity to change your life.
All right, so then you've got your VP. This is really your most valuable player, right? I know it's vice president or whatever, but that's your operator. Okay, that's the person that's really running your integrator. That's the person that's really running your company. And even though they sit in an even spot with the COO and the CFO, that vice president is really, they all know that's the second. You watch Billions, the vice president's Wags. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knows Wags is in charge. When he came in there cussing, it was as if Axelrod was in there cussing, right? And he was the ultimate delegator. He wasn't the person that was the henchman.
That's on Billions, right?
Yeah, but I'm just that was his role, so that's a great example that we all know, right? But he didn't. You never saw him actually go do the work. He was always finding the people to get the work done. That's the VP's job, right? So they're in charge of hiring, sales, marketing, all that, right? So, but they're really the second in command. Even though they sit at the same round table or whatever the hell you want to call it, they're really your right hand. In my case, it's Jose. He's been here the longest. He knows everything inside and out. He moves quietly in the background. You know, he doesn't need to be the face nor want to be the face of the company. He's somebody that's totally fucking good with being the behind the scenes dude running it. Some of us that have been around know who he is, but like the general public, if you were like, you know, who's Ryan's right hand man, they probably say Drewby or Mariana, you know what I mean? Just because Jose's the quiet guy for the most part back there. But he's the one that's looking at hiring. He's the one that's looking at he fills out that daily report for me. He's holding the team accountable. He does the daily KPI meetings with everybody. So once you fill that, that's your little C-suite. And you can have other friends that sit on the board or whatever the fuck, right? You pay them $100 a year, and you can have a chairman and some other, you know, whatever, secretary.
Wayne was talking about like an equity, you know what I mean? And I was like, would you like to sit on the board, Wayne?
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like, well, I think I would in lieu of money.
But a guy like him that ask him for, normally he'd be like, yeah, but a guy like him asking for money, he knows to fill out the paperwork. I think he'd be worth his.
I was flattered that he would even consider that.
Yeah, I think he would be worth having on there. A lot of people, like if it was another guy in my position, I'd be like, yeah, what do you really need that for? But Wayne's a lawyer that has experience selling companies, so he's probably a good person.
Or putting together those boards, you know what I mean?
He's probably a good person to put on. Do you have that VP position filled?
No, originally the integrator was going to be a fractional CFO. We brought Jen in to do EOS. Her assessment was, even though he's perfect for everything else, he doesn't like confrontation, and part of the integrator role is that he has to be at least stern enough to be like, I don't know, so.
Jen knows what she's doing, man. She said that she's definitely not trying to shit on your business, you know what I mean?
She thinks she's got a great leadership team, but that one piece, she was like, I just don't know.
She's in the wrong place.
Yeah, it's great fractional CFO. Then she agrees with that. Just maybe not as far as integrator. What we're doing right now is Mariana, is currently our integrator, in that she is not afraid to tell anybody, including me, like, yo, I need you off your phone for 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, you got it, you know?
So how do you pour into her for 6 months really heavily and lead her, and hey, you know, and this is how you do that with somebody.
To a VP role, possibly.
So if she's your integrator now, right, let's try to make her better. At least while we're making her better, maybe we're looking at other options too, but at least we're making her better, so we're getting the process of it down. So what you do is you present her with situations. Instead of solving them yourself, you're like, here's the situation that I have, what do you suggest we do? Okay, the Smith's roof over here, turns out the attorney's pissed off. They're not happy that this situation happened. It's Hector's deal, you know, so they're going to claw back the money on that. What do you suggest I do in this situation? So you're putting her in situations to say that, what do you suggest I do? What would you do? What are you going to do? And so that when they give you the wrong, you're able to say, well, that's a great answer and all, but let me talk to you from experience. And so you're giving them real world scenarios and showing them that your way is better than their way, so that you're pouring into them. You know, and they may argue and say, hey, that sounds right, Kenny, but if you do this, that, and the other, because they may know certain things that you don't, or maybe better, right? Because they're in the trenches, but it gives you the opportunity to present it. Then when you get to a thing to where they start thinking like you, right? Then they no longer, it's not that they no longer have to report to you, it's just that you understand at that point, it's like, oh, okay, she gets it, you know. You run 1 out of every 5 by me, or the big super important ones, not every deal or whatever, you know.
No, I love that. And that's actually something that Sammy was kind of like presenting me with, was how to manage with my leadership team, and kind of doing things just like that. Like, hey, what was your thought process behind this? So you can find out how they're thinking, and then, okay, well, here's what I would have done, so they can start to learn how you think.
Well, here's the thing a lot of people struggle with, man, is they think it's just going to be easy to go find somebody better. If it was easy to find somebody better, they'd already be there. So what they need to do is get better at training their people. Everything's trainable. And you know what? When we first start, we're like, man, we can't wait to train some sales guys, you know, but then we don't ever train the most important role in our company, the COO or the CFO or the VP. We pour into our sales guys, because that's that poor POOR mentality thinking, because sales is the money, but the whole business becomes the money at some point. Because the happier you make those customers, the smoother you make the process, the more you're going to get referrals, the more they're going to hit you up next time something goes wrong again. You're going to be nothing's worse than finding out somebody you've done work for ended up calling another company. That's them basically saying what you did for us wasn't good. Because if you did it good, they call you back, right? Having the right team that makes that process smooth and pouring into them. Part of the scarcity mindset of an entrepreneur is if I pour all this time and effort into there and then end up firing them or they end up quitting, you know, like what a waste of time. Not really, you got good practice, you know? Or if I pour all this into them and they go work for somewhere else, that's your bad then. Because if you were really pouring into them and leading them, you would have seen their value or whatever the case may be, right? As entrepreneurs from our world, we always lean into the revenue generators, not the actual management, but to ascend up that ladder and really be that true CEO, I'm pouring into Mariana and Jose and Drewby and Zach and Kate. Those are the guys that are the most important players in this company, and I'm constantly having conversations with those guys, you know? A lot of yelling
time and stuff with them, and like meet with them once a week.
Fuck out of them. Just to be honest with you, I interrupt them all the time. I was yelling at everybody this morning, wasn't I, Hector? Yes, about 4 in the morning. That's just me, you know. But I'm not yelling at them. I'm yelling at them so we get better. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here saying, you know, hey, let's do something that makes us worse or blah blah. It's like, hey man, I'm trying to challenge you guys to be better. I'm putting a challenge in front of you because I want us to be better. Because when we're better, we're making an impact on this planet, man. It's that important. It's not when we're better we make more money. Like, yes, that's cool. But when we're better, we're making an impact on this planet. You know. That's really what we're trying to do. We're just barely getting started here in Texas, man. We got something that can be a global movement, you know? It's like I always say, wait till we get good. So, yes, let me show you here. Okay, so like Monday, here we come in, we have our company meeting at 9 a.m. You wanna know what's cool about that meeting? Is it used to be in the conference room, and then that got too busy, then we moved it over here, and then this got too big, and now we're downstairs in the main room because of all the people, you know?
That's awesome.
After that, I have phone sites, which is the sales training for those guys. So that's Jaden, Christian, and Steve. And I go over specific, hey, marketing, sales, the shit that they need to do, the scripts. I have them act stuff out for an hour. Then on Tuesday, you can see that I meet with my ads team, right? This is recurring every week, right? My advertisement team, and then 48/7 is our events company. So I meet with them every week too. And all I'm doing, and then I meet with the creative team on Tuesday as well, right? So that's our social media, the video guys, that's all of them, right? Then I train my sales team on Wednesday, every Wednesday, the Break Free Academy Apex sales guys. And then I have the meeting with the CFO, a CPA, that's every Wednesday, as you can see right there at 11, like I said in the video. And then that's it. That's my meetings for the week. So all Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm in like company meetings, pouring into people. And all I'm doing in those meetings, like so many people, here's how they do meetings. Hey, who's got any ideas? Hey, we're not leaving this room until you got an idea. Well, what do you propose? And then people just spitball ideas. Here's how they did it at Amazon. They have this 2 pizza rule, right? Never have more people in a meeting than you could feed with 2 large pizzas. Everybody already has their pre-written out scripts, ideas, thoughts, everything in their head. Okay, there's 10 people, that's about 2 pizzas.
Is there an itinerary?
Yep, so no, not their itinerary, everything they want to say, all the details, all the shit that they need, everything else, they show up with it, they pass it out to everybody, and everybody sits there in silence and reads all of your shit, all of Hector's shit, all of Ryan's shit, all of Mariana's shit, until they're done, and then they discuss it. I don't think either one of those are perfect. I don't like the spitballing for sure, because then we'd be here for 2 goddamn hours, and I'm on a time constraint. What I do is I come in and I give the vision every week. That's all I'm doing, you know? Hey, here's what we're looking to do. We're looking to create this type of social media presence. We're looking for innovation here. I leave it up to them, but I tell them what vision I'm trying to get across. When I meet with the sales team, I'm training them on technical, right? But I'm giving them the vision on how to generate their own leads. That's what I'm always doing. I'm not here to have a meeting in a sense of like, let's discuss ideas. I'm saying, hey, I'm the captain of this ship. Here's where we're going. What can you contribute to get us down this road, right? hey, we need better YouTube channel, for example, right? How are you going to contribute? Who's going to do SEO? Who's going to learn to be keywords better? Who's going to leverage ChatGPT to write titles? This is what we need to do in order to go down the road. Who here is going to do that? And somebody's got to sit around and stare at each other till they take ownership. But luckily for me, most of our folks are like, every one of our folks are like, I'll do it. You know, I'll do this, I'll do that. And they start assigning themselves I'll take this. Okay, well, I can do this, this, and this. No, you already took that last week. Let me take this. They typically work together. And if there is an idea to be discussed, hey, we tried that, it's not going to work. Don't forget we tried that, it's not going to work, or whatever the case may be, they'll say something. But for the most part, you're there to give direction. But you get to a point where you're supposed to be able to give that direction to that VP, and the VP run all those meetings. I just don't have that exact VP yet because I'm the creative genius here, so it's like a little bit difficult here. You know, as much as I think I find somebody who thinks like me, it's just they don't, or they would be me, right. Or they go on to be something like me, you know. Makes sense? But yeah. Man, think of having all your people on the same page and a cadence of meetings, knowing that they show up to a meeting empty-handed. Now here's the other thing, at 9 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday, they have a 10-minute KPI meeting with Jose. That's my VP, right? And so what Jose does is he says, you know, did you make, for the sales team, did you make your calls yesterday? Okay, what went wrong, what went right? Who did you sell? Why didn't you sell these guys? Okay, cool. Did you post in the groups? How many comments did you get? Why didn't that work? Boom. Running it down real quick. Hey, video guys, how much shit did you create yesterday? What do you title it? Just these KPIs that we have set in place, right? It's just a quick 10-minute meeting every morning, knowing that somebody's holding them accountable. I told them to come in here Monday and tell everybody, don't you tell nobody, tell everybody, like, you caught them cheating on their thing, that they ain't filling it out right, because they say they're doing some shit they ain't doing and stuff like that, and come in here and be like, okay, prove it. I told him to call a few people out and tell them to prove it, you know, that he knows ain't gonna be able to, because people get comfortable just filling that shit out. But these little things right here, I see you took a lot of notes, but these little things right here will make all the difference in how you communicate with your team, right? How your money's managed, the reports that you get daily and weekly.
Dude, that's the stuff that I look for, you know what I mean? Like, just give me the how do you do it, you know?
If I see that Zoe's GCode score has been the same for a month now, hey, I go back and look, 10 points in the last month. Hey, I noticed you've been showing up about 9:45 in the morning. Your GCode score is about 100 points less than what it should be. You know, is there anything you want to discuss or talk about? Because you know that's requirements here. So it's not I know you're a piece of shit, late, lazy motherfucker. It's just like, hey, we have KPIs and requirements that aren't being met. Is there a way that I can help you meet them? Mm-hmm. You know, because if not, you know what happens.
Right. Yeah, that makes those conversations actually easier.
Very much so, because I'm one to, because hurt people. I'm a hurt motherfucker. I'll attack your personality and make you feel bad. I try not to, but if I get in my feelings, that's the first thing I do, is I want to hurt yours too, you know. And so grading according to this keeps me off of the person. You know, I assume everybody's great. Hey, are you just, if I tell my 83-year-old grandma to go dig a hole in the backyard, she can't do it. She's not going to reach that KPI, right? Some people just can't do it. So if I got that person in the wrong position because the KPI reflects that, it just doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that maybe you need to go be a janitor, or you need to go work on the creative team, or you need to go into sales because of this isn't working for you, or maybe we move, if we like you and you fit the core values, maybe we move you into another department that may pay or may not pay as good, or you got, you know, core values and KPIs solves everything.